Life is precarious. Life is fragile. Life is bittersweet. Life is a blessing from God. We move through the rhythms of each season, holding on to our faith. Faith that God is journeying with us always. Faith that God is seeking to restore, to reconcile always. Faith that while the joys and sorrows of life are intertwined, there is always hope in our midst. Hope which comes from God's bountiful Spirit. Hope which calls us to give voice to our struggles and our sorrows. Hope which journeys with us no matter what. Hope that God's blessings are never ending, are abundant, are repeatedly offered. Hope that we will encounter sibling pilgrims on the pathways of life who will bless us with presence, with love, with grace, with compassion. God blesses us over and over and over, and God asks us to bless others in return. We do this by showing up for our family and our friends, for our neighbors and for God's people. We do this by recognizing that we are all in this gift of life together, that we need each other, that we have more in common than we may realize on first glance, that we all have dreams and hopes and visions of how our life will be or become, that we all hurt and laugh, we all experience broken seasons and joy-filled seasons, that we all want to receive love, and that the divine image of God is planted within each and every one of us. So how do we hold on to hope in the midst of life's challenges? How do we hold on to hope and move forward after life-altering experiences? When we face devastation or despair, when we are unsure or afraid or feeling lost. I believe we do this by trusting deeply in God's presence and by having each other's backs. I believe we hold on to hope by listening and receiving, by sharing and creating space for each other, by remembering that we all have struggles, we all have challenges, we all carry baggage and burdens. We all long to be seen, and we are all loved by God. We are all named beloved by our Creator and creating God. This week I read a story which I'd like to share, and it's a story about having each other's backs, of recognizing that we all go through difficult days and seasons, that we don't always know what others are experiencing until we create sacred spaces for sharing, for people to feel comfortable being authentic and vulnerable. So this story is offered by a teacher who shares, "This starts my 22nd year of teaching middle school. Yesterday was quite possibly one of the most impactful days I have ever had. I tried a new activity called the baggage activity. I asked kids what it meant to have baggage, and they mostly said it was hurtful stuff that you carry around on your shoulders. I asked them to write down on a piece of paper what was bothering them, what was heavy on their hearts, what was hurting them. No names were to be put on the paper. And then they were asked to wad those papers up and throw them across the room. They each picked up a piece of paper and took turns reading aloud what their classmates had wrote. After a student read a paper, I asked who wrote it if they wanted to share. And I'm here to tell you I have never been so moved to tears as what these kids opened up about and shared with the class. Things like suicide thoughts, parents in prison, drugs in their family, being left by their parents, death, cancer, losing pets, and on and on. The kids who read the papers would cry because what they're reading was really tough stuff. The person who shared, if they chose to tell that it was them, would sometimes cry also. It was an emotionally draining day, but I firmly believe my kids will judge a little less, love a little more, forgive a little faster. This bag hangs by my door to remind them that we all have baggage. We all leave it at the door. And as they left, I told them that they are not alone. They are loved, and we have each other's backs. I am honored to be their teacher. We all carry something with us. A trauma, a wound, a hurt, an experience which broke us. We are all called by God to judge a little less, to love a little more, to forgive a little faster. We all carry something that damaged us. And if we realize this, perhaps we can begin to bridge the divides which stand between us with love and with grace, to fill the chasms which separate people with empathy and compassion, with hope. Perhaps we can begin to recognize God's Spirit is within each of us and within all of our neighbors. God's Spirit is all around us and is going ahead to find a new way. God blesses us, and the Spirit transforms us. And Jesus leaves a pathway for us to follow, calling us to be blessings as we are blessed. And I leave you with a thought from Fred Rogers. If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, how important you can be to the people you may never even dream of. There is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person. Friends, be a blessing as you are blessed. May it be so, and amen.